In this video, we'll be discussing the bronchial tree and the lung structure. The bronchial tree is a series of tubes and pathways that carries air from the trachea down to the respiratory membrane in the alveoli. The bronchial tree begins with the right and left primary bronchus and those branches into the right and left lungs. And once inside the lungs, it's going to branch into secondary and tertiary bronchioles until you get to the terminal bronchioles, which takes about 23 divisions. The terminal bronchioles are about a millimeter in diameter. And terminal bronchioles are kind of the end of the conducting pathway where air is being transported, it's being warmed, it's being humidified, it's being filtered, but no gas exchange is occurring. Gas exchange happens at the end of the bronchial tree, here at the respiratory bronchioles, the alveolar sac, alveolar duct, and the alveoli. So the respiratory bronchiole is the first place where we have gas exchange occurring, and it carries the air into the alveolar duct and then into the alveolar sac, which connects with all the alveoli, little air sacs where gas exchange occurs. So the alveoli, there's about 300 million of these, and they cover a surface area of about 170 to 180 square meters if they were laid flat. And so that's a lot of area for gas exchange to occur, and that's important because we have a lot of gas exchange that needs to occur for our bodies to function properly. So here you can see a photomicrograph, and the arrow is indicating an alveolar pore. The alveolar pores allow air to pass from one alveolus to another alveolus. The other thing we want to talk about in this video are the lungs. And there are two. There's a right and a left lung. And they are soft, spongy, cone-shaped organs. The lungs are divided by fissures into lobes. The right and left lungs are not identical. On the right side, we have three lobes, an upper, a middle, and a lower lobe, which are created by a transverse and oblique fissure. In the left lung, we have a superior lobe and an inferior lobe, or an upper and a lower lobe, but no middle lobe. And the left lung also has a cutout area for the heart called the cardiac notch. The hilum in both lungs is where the bronchi enter and blood vessels enter and leave the lungs. The lungs are located in a cavity inside the thoracic cavity called the pleural cavity, and this is a cavity that's lined by a moist membrane. It's a serous membrane, and the membrane is called the pleura. The pleura is a double-layered membrane. The inner layer covers the outer surface of the lung, that's the visceral pleura, and the outer layer covers the inside of the ribs, called the parietal pleura. And this moist membrane helps reduce friction between the lungs and the inside of the rib cage when we breathe. In pleurisy, there's an infection in this pleural membrane, and it can cause, in some cases, that membrane to dry out, which causes very painful, very labored breathing. Fortunately, that's not a very common occurrence. Some other important landmarks: the point of the lung, or the top of the lung, is at the apex. The bottom of the lung, the part that sits right on the diaphragm, the main muscle in breathing, is called the base.